Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial in which I'm going to show you how with Shaper 3D we can create this nice looking frying pan handle and attach it to an existing frying pan. We will go over the creation of the individual sketches and then the bodies. We will touch the history, how we can design and modify our handle styling, and then we will finish everything with a nice product presentation inside the visualization mode. And with all that said, let's get going. Here's actually now our raw demo file. As you can see, we have an existing basic frying pan model already inside our design. The shaper file is being shared with you. The link you can find inside the description of the video. I highly suggest you to download it so you can better follow it. All the snapping options are turned on and we are in millimeters. The easiest way now to start designing our handle is first thinking about where is the handle going to be attached to the frying pan, and then from there we grow the handle out. To do this, first I will add actually a construction plane. And from this plane, I will offset this plane by 110 millimeters. This is actually very useful because now, right where this construction plane is, I can create a new sketch. In general, I always create very clean geometry, so no details such as fillets. All that, like fillets, I will add later. So with the arc command, I will create an arc here. I will create an arc at the bottom. Then, because I need tools to also control where the arc is and the dimensions, I created a horizontal line, escape. I create a top line, escape. I create a bottom line and I press escape. And one more time escape. Now these three lines I can select, turn into a construction line, because they're just guidelines, and make sure they're horizontal and vertically oriented. Another line on top, and escape, and escape. And the top point I lock, and then this line here again, I make a construction. Because this now gives me the possibility to very precisely position the height position of this arc. The width of this body, or this resulting body, I set 40 millimeters, and then the height I will set to 10 millimeters. But you see the two ellipses are very uneven. But when I select both, or both arcs, I mean, we can set them to equal. And now they're perfect. Very good. Then if I zoom out, exit the sketch, I can now select the filling of the sketch. So you see the dashed construction lines don't interfere with our modeling, and I can extrude something in or out and cut it into the body. So you have to be careful where actually you move the mouse to. And here in this case, I don't want to cut. I want to actually fuse it right into it. So I select the union command. And there you see, we only have one frying pan. Perfect. Here, I will put actually the two pieces into each other into a folder so I can hide it. There we are. In my case, as you can see here, I worked a little bit dirty, which is not really a big problem. Look at this. I simply go ahead and then adjust actually the design. So -8 millimeters. There, perfect. Now we can think about how do we do the handle. Because I have this body, I have a midpoint. And I will go to the front view. I will create a new sketch. You see there now I have actually two plane intersections. So where the geometry intersects with the sketch, and I can just draw a vertical line between these 2 points. And there's my midpoint. From there, I draw a line out, 175 millimeters. And click. Very good. And escape. And then I draw another line out. There and there. And escape. This line and this line. Both will be horizontally, vertically aligned. And the angle between these 2 lines is 18 degrees. And actually everything is just a construction, an underlay, if we want to think about it this way. So let's select them, make them a construction type. Perfect. Because now I have basically the point where the handle will start. Here we will have our curve, and then we will have the transition into the base. Very nice. So we can now go ahead in the sketch to add our spline. I will use the control point version, and from there I will click and go over and click, and I press escape. The distance between these 2 points I would like to be 120. There we are. And then this point I can move around, and with this you see we're arcing basically this handle quite nicely. Very good. So along this spline we are sweeping actually 3 profiles. And we'll do pretty much the same construction like we did for this shape. So what we will do, we exit the sketch, then we go to add and construction plane. The type will be perpendicular through curve. Click on this one. Okay, at the beginning, that's fine. Then we do the same. This has now to be somewhat at the center, but a little bit further. Okay. And then we do one last at the end. And click and drag this to the end. Perfect. And done. Very nice. So on each of these construction planes, now we can place a sketch. We will start with the first one. So here I will create a sketch. We have actually where this new sketch intersects with the previous sketch, the plane intersection point. And all I need to do now is I need to have my arc, top and bottom, and then my left and right and top and bottom elements. Because now we have this center point, I will do a very quick sketch like this. So you see how I go up and down, left and right, then escape, and I select all these lines, horizontal, vertical. These 2 will be equal. And then also these lines all will be construction lines. Then I can add an arc on the top and an arc at the bottom. There. I actually have one extra arc, which I need to delete, and there, reconnected. Beautiful. Then these loose ends, actually, I drag onto the arcs. There we are. In case there are any foreign constraints, you can select them and delete them. Beautiful. So now we can specify that this should be 8 millimeters. This should be 13 millimeters. And then this will be 14 millimeters. And you see that actually with this, we created a nice kind of like cross section. The sketch is done. Let's go to the next sketch. this will be a little bit wider, but the process will essentially be exactly the same. So one line, one line, one line, one line, and every time I draw it, and after I drew it, I press the escape button. Here, everything horizontal and vertical. These two will be equal. Very good. This also will be 8 millimeters because this will be the same on the top. But I just realized I should actually first draw the arc. Then I can snap actually the line onto the arc, and then I dimension the line. There. This will be 17. And then this goes down, and this point, there's a constraint which I will remove and attach it. There we are. Beautiful. And then this line will be 16. So if we exit the sketch, click somewhere outside, you start seeing that this gets a little bit wider and also deeper. And that is really what is important. Now we can go to the last sketch. There we are. Here again, same thing, escape, draw, draw and escape, draw and escape. I saw here's an endpoint constraint, which I remove. Then we select all these lines and horizontal, vertical, and construction. These two will be the same. And then two arcs. Hold on, and just make this a little bit less perfect there. And we drag this onto it. There's the line. Okay, very good. This one here, again, will remain being 8. You notice that actually the height here along all sketches is the same. So kind of like the back of the surface or the top surface always has kind of like nearly the same. This will be 10. And this I will set to 10 too. So we'll make this a little bit kind of like slightly round. Yeah. So it's nice fitting into your palm where your pinky is. Beautiful. We can see that, for example, these construction planes are a little bit on our way. So I put this actually into this other folder. So they are gone. And now I can select actually my sketches. You see here, I have only an element of my sketch selectable. So this means that in this case here, if I go into editing the sketch, these lines, I actually forgot to make a construction line. So sorry for this hiccup. 1, 2, and 3. And here comes now the thing. We can loft those. Beautiful. See, the center spline is really helping us only to position the profiles and rotating them correctly. And then we simply loft between the first, second, and third one. Very easy. Since we're at this point, let's actually make a loft between the base and the handle. There we are, loft. Then now we can go to history, go to the last loft command and say G1 and G1. And look how beautiful this transition is. Here, this is linear, this goes in, that is fine. This is part of the handle. So this I would like to be a G2. And this is actually a nicer, softer transition, but a little bit more computational intensive. We can also play with these values. So you can see how this is now further pushed down towards it. So this way we have an ability to style the transition a little bit or we leave it at the default value, which will make this a nice uniform transition. I will select all these sketches, put this into that folder one more time, close this, go to the top view, and this looks actually really nice. This is good. Beautiful. So we have now the frying pan, we have one handle, we have the second handle. We can join both pieces together. So simply at this point now we have just one body to deal with. And I just move this one up. There we are. Very nice. Cool. Beautiful. The handle also needs to have a hole up here. Okay, so we can go to the side view, go to sketch, and then we draw another line. Now this line should not be at an angle. It should kind of like go perpendicular through that piece. Then I need 3 more lines. Here, these 2 will be perpendicular. These 2 will be perpendicular, and the last 2 will be perpendicular. So now, basically, as you can see, we have a nice rectangular shape. This whole thing can be 10 millimeters. So we do a revolve, then now we have 20 millimeters of an opening. So for a hook to go through. And if we want to rotate the sketch, we can select everything, go to rotate and say, well, maybe wrong here, and just we can rotate it. When we turn the grid snapping, etc. off, then we can also have more smoother rotation, or we just simply enter the value here. There, beautiful. With this done, I can select the sketch profile, select this sketch edge, and then do a revolve. And with this revolve body, now I can select my handle, double click the cylinder and say subtract. Keep none, perfect. So there we have a nice big opening. If this is maybe a little bit too big, good, we can adjust the sketch. There, you see now this is smaller. If we don't have to go into the sketch, you can see that the dimension we added can be edited while being outside the sketch, which is really nice. But maybe I want to change where this is a little bit. So with this being now in the sketch editing mode, I can select everything and move this around. Oh, look how beautiful this is. -2 and enter. Very good. This looks really, really nice. Okay, I move the sketch away. There we are. Perfect. To style this handle a little bit more, I might want to have something for my thumb to go into, kind of like a groove, and something to stick out down here. That's actually also a very interesting exercise. There are many ways how you can do this. I simply, in this case, work more freely in a sculptural approach. So I will create another sketch and somewhere make myself a circle, 20 millimeters. There we are. And then here I will draw right through the center a line. So along the grid. Because of this, what I can do now is I will make a revolve. There we are. And this body I can select and move into here. Look at this. No, that looks nice. Number 1, copy. There. Okay. Then select copy to here. Click, click, copy to there. You see how I'm making like these 3 nice copies. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 now positions, for example, for my fingers to go in between. And the last one I will bring actually to here. And what I will do now is I will go to scale, and we are in scale uniform. I make this kind of like turn this into an ellipse. And then I will rotate this and sink this into the body. There we are. Beautiful. And the construction line is, construction time is going to record everything. So it's actually really nice. So if we want to position something, we can simply click onto that point and move it. You see all the other elements, because there were copies from the first sphere, follow, which actually is really nice. It's kind of like a product array there. And then we have that one. And maybe here now, let's add a last one there. Perfect. So this is here. I can move this one up in the timeline to change also the order. And this is movement 5. There. Very good. Now, with all this done, I can select the handle, select the elliptical shape, and say subtract. So there's this piece cut out. I can select my handle with shift click all the other spheres and say union. Perfect. And you see, this is actually really very easy. Just one simple sphere, and then we move the bodies around into the position and do our solid calculations. You could obviously also sketch everything if you want to. It's more labor intensive, less intuitive. Beautiful. Okay. So I would say that at this point, this handle reached a position where we can now start thinking about final touch-ups, rounding edges, material studies, maybe a metallic cap. If I go to the side view, this face, if I select it and go to rotate, I can rotate. You see, that's actually quite nice. So slightly angled. We have here all these edges. This is now something we can talk about. So I will select all these edges and just add a fillet to it. And you see it does it actually for all at the same time. This is really nice. Then it makes sense to fillet the connection of the base to the frying pan. Then it makes sense to think about how I'm going to do actually the end. Now this will be the metal cap. 1 millimeter for this edge. And then here, these 3, 4, and 5 edges, 2 millimeters, and round those. So here I have 5 edges rounded at once. If I go to the history, there you see now all the individual features and what they do. This works really good. Beautiful. One last sorting, and we are ready to put everything into our visualization environment. We have the frying pan, and we have actually the handle. We can see here there are different types of materials. So the frying pan, we have the outside and we have the inside. We do have actually some sharp edges. I just realized I forgot to do this, so please excuse me for my oversight. This can be a really sharp edge, 0.25. And to make the touch experience of this design nicer, these outer edges I round way more aggressively. Very good. So let's go back to the visualization environment. I can go to metal and then I will scroll down to the steel material. There we are, the brush one, and simply drag this onto the frying pan. You see, if I go to individual elements here, I get various faces. If I go directly to the body, then it selects the complete body. Then I can select the inside faces. Click change, and then here, when we go back to metal, I will look for the cast iron material. There we are. Very nice. Cool. Okay. For the handle now, so which is in this case here, body all3, I can select the body. It tells me there are multiple materials being selected. I simply click change and scroll down. PVC, that looks good. Select it. Then we can specify the material. There we are. Beautiful. We would like to have the end here to be nicely polished, or maybe some sort of a metal cap. So here I can select just these faces, as you saw, click on change, and then select the brushed steel material again. To make this whole product presentation visually more interesting, let's go to environment. I will select gradient mood again. A nice brighter material is very good to support actually the look. You can click on the cog icon, rotate the light for the reflection, but it seems in this case actually to be perfect when the light is right on top. Lower the interface elements, and we are ready to create nice looking presentation photos of our product design. And that's it. I hope with this exercise you learned a little bit and that you enjoyed it. Bye bye.